Okay, so we're going to be palpating the leg, ankle, and foot today. So we're going to first just start up at the superior portion of the lower leg. So we're going to start in the eyes of the knee. If we move superior to that, we're going to be on the lateral medial femoral condyles. If we go back to the eyes of the knee and then move inferiorly, we're going to be on the tibial, the medial and lateral tibial condyles right here. Moving back to the eyes of the knee, if we move all the way laterally, but still staying on the anterior portion of the leg, we'll be on the head of the fibula right here, this little bump. And then if we go to the top or the superior portion of the head of the fibula, we'll be on the apex of that. And then if we move inferiorly all the way down to that lateral malleolus, which we'll be palpating soon, we'll feel that fibula, the shaft of the fibula once again. If we move back to the eyes of the knee, we move inferiorly down into the center. We will be on that tibial tuberosity, and then following that all the way down, we'll be on the shaft of the tibia. And then eyes of the knee again, staying medially, moving inferior to the tibial tuberosity. We'll find a bump right here. That's going to be your pes anserine. We go back to the eyes and knee one last time, and we stay on the lateral side. Can you see that? Right there. Yeah, lateral side, and we move just down a little bit past the lateral tibial condyle. Right there. We'll be on Gertie's tubercle. Okay, so let's start the bones of the foot. So if we start on the lateral side, we're going to be on the lateral malleolus, and then on the medial side is the same thing. We have a little bump on the medial side of the foot too, which is the medial malleolus. Right here on the back side, this bone right down here at the base of the foot, that's going to be the calcaneus. Moving anteriorly in this space right in here. In there is going to be your cuboid, and then if we move anteriorly to that and superior, we're going to be on the navicular. Navicular is right here, and then if do you mind turning your foot to the inside? Yeah, that's perfect. All right. Perfect. Okay, so same thing. So navicular still right here, cuboid still in there. If we feel this shelf right here, that's going to be the medial tuberosity of your navicular. And then if we move back and inferiorly right in here, that's going to be our subsentaculum tali. Both of those pieces are going to be important for different muscle attachments and just anatomical landmarks to kind of just indicate where you are in the foot. So like I said, we were just on the navicular. If we move anteriorly to that, we're going to be on the first medial cuneiform. If you want to move your foot just towards the camera, yeah. So first medial cuneiform is right here. If we move laterally to that, we're going to be on the second cuneiform, and then laterally to that, we're going to be on the third cuneiform. So there's 3 of cuneiforms right here, lining up pretty much with the first 3 toes. So if we want to stay on that first medial cuneiform and we move anteriorly, we're going to be on the the metatarsals. Yes. So the head of the metatarsal is going to be on the superior portion. We're going to be on the shaft of it right down here if we keep going inferior, and then down to the base. The base is going to be connecting those phalanges to the metatarsals. So the base is going to be towards the end right down here, and the same goes for all 5 toes. So we're going to have right there. So we're going to have the head of the metatarsal here, the shaft, and then the base, head, shaft, base, and then head, shaft, base is down here for all 5 toes. And then we're going to move on to the phalanges. So 2 through 5 are all the same. So we're going to start with the first bit with the first phalange first, because it's a little bit different than the rest of them. So it's only going to have a proximal and a distal phalange. So the proximal starts here, and then we move down, and at the very end of the toes, it's going to be the distal phalange. And then for the next 4 toes, so 2 through 5, we're gonna have our proximal toe, proximal end of our toe right here. So proximal phalange, middle phalange is gonna be next, and then our distal phalange right here at the very tip of our toe. Same thing. So proximal, middle, distal, proximal, middle, distal, proximal, middle, distal. And then if you just want to turn your foot a little bit so I can see that's totally fine. And then so if we stay on our 5th phalange right here, and we move all the way back on our metatarsal, and if we keep moving back to the end of our metatarsal right here, we're going to feel a bump and kind of where we feel like the 5th metatarsal stops, which it does. So it's going to be the base of our 5th metatarsal, which is also called the styloid process, and that's just really important for different muscle attachments, and it's just an anatomical landmark in the foot. And then lastly, if you just want to go into dorsiflexion for me, and then move your foot towards the camera, right there. So, and then lastly, we have 2 sesamoid bones in the foot, and they're going to be on the base of the first metatarsal right here, and this is just important for like push-offs and different things like that, and like stability of the foot and being able to balance. And then a muscle that we're going to talk about later runs through those, which is the flexor hallucis longus, but we'll get into that in a little bit when we talk about those. So they're just 2 sesamoid bones right here that help the stability of the foot, I guess. Okay, so if you just want to bring your foot back up again, that's good. So I guess we can do joints now. So we'll do the proximal tibiofibular joint. That's going to be on the proximal aspect of the ankle, and it's going to connect the tibia and the fibula together, and that is a synovial. That's a synovial joint, and it's a synovial joint, and it connects the tibia and the fibula, and it just allows for like small gliding movements of the ankle. Next we have the that's the proximal. We have the distal tibiofibular joint, proximal, distal tibiofibular joint, and that connects the tibia and the fibula, and this also allows for small gliding motions of the ankle, but this is a syndesmosis joint, which doesn't allow for much movement just because it holds the tibia and fibula together, and kind of just helps create like the shape of like, and helps hold and create the shape of like the tib fib. Next we have the talocrural joint, which connects the talus, the tibia, and the fibula together. And this allows for plantar flexion and dorsiflexion. And this is also a synovial joint. It's a modified hinge joint, yeah, it's a modified hinge joint, so it allows dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. That's the talocurl joint. Yeah. Next we have the subtalar joint, which connects the calcaneus and the talus together, and this allows here to here. This allows for inversion and eversion, and is also a synovial joint. Allows for this. So synovial, it's a synovial plane joint. It's a plane joint, yep. And it allows for inversion, eversion. I think that is it for the ankle. So now we're gonna move down to the toes, the toe joints. So we have the, how do I say this? Metaphalangeal joint, which is the joint that connects the metatarsals, all 5 metatarsals, to each phalange. So it goes right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. So that's the metaphalangeal joint. And then next we have, for the big toe at least, we have the proximal interphalangeal joint is right. Proximal interphalangeal joint. And then, so next, moving on to the 2 5 toes, we have the sorry, I'm just trying, sorry, proximal interphalangeal joint, proximal interphalangeal joint, proximal is right through there, and then we have the, and then if we move anteriorly on these 2 through 5 toes, we have distal interphalangeal joints as well. So this connects the middle to the distal portions of the toes. So this goes right here, right here, right here, and then right there. And then 2 through 5, sorry, no, both the proximal and distal interphalangeal joints only allow for flexion and extension, and then the meta interphalangeal joints. Oh my God, it's a mouthful. Meta interphalangeal joints. No, that's not right. Metatarsal phalangeal joints. There we go. You know what I mean. Metatarsal infantile joints. Whoa. Metatarsal infantile joints. I've said it once. I know I've said it right one time. That allows for flexion, extension, abduction, and adduction. Boom. Done. So those are the joints. Kelly's laughing at me, Sherry. Next, we will do I think we'll just do the ligaments of the ankle next. So first, we'll just get these 2 medial ligaments out of the way. So if you just want to move your foot medial, we'll get those 2 done. Sorry. Yeah, just 2, and then you can sit back down in a second. I swear. Actually, you might want to stand up because we're going to do muscles.
That's fine.
Okay, cool. So we have the medial side of the foot. First, we have the deltoid ligament, which is going to be in the shape of a triangle right in here. It's going to kind of be in the area of like where your arch is, right through here. This is going to protect from eversion. So the deltoid ligament looks like a triangle right in here. It's going to protect from eversion. And then next we have the spring ligament. The spring ligament, which is also the calcaneonavicular ligament, which runs from the calcaneus to the navicular, and it's going to be kind of, I know. It runs right from through here, the navicular, and then the calcaneus, it runs here. It's a pretty short ligament, and it pretty much helps with like weight bearing and something else. It helps with weight bearing and stability of the foot. Runs from here and here. And those are the two medial ligaments. So if we want to move our foot back, kind of laterally, anterior laterally for me, that'd be amazing. Thank you. Yeah, that's okay. Thank you. Okay, so we did the two medial ones. Next, we have the anterior tibiofibular ligament, and that is going to be on the anterior portion of the ankle. It's going to connect the tibia and the fibula together, and this just connects them and helps create and hold the shape of the tib-fib. Yeah, that's what it does. It helps create the tib-fib, I guess. What do we have next? Next we have the anterior talofibular ligament. Yep. Anterior talofibular ligament, which connects the talus to the fibula, and this protects the ankle from inversion. And then we also have the calcaneofibular ligament. Yeah. Did I just do that one? What did I say? Did I not just say that one? Calcaneus to the fibula. The calcaneofibular ligament connects a calcaneus to the fibula, and this one protects from inversion. And then we have the I said the anterior talofibular ligament. That's what I said. The talus to the fibula, which protects from also inversion, which I'm pretty sure I said, and also, what would shorten it? I mean, long, make it long. Inversion and plantar flexion. Yep, plantar flexion. And then if we just want to move a little bit more, yep. So on the back side right here, if you can you see that? Yep, right here. This is just a really, really thick tendon right here on the back side of the leg. It's called the Achilles tendon, and it two muscles on the posterior part of the leg insert into this, and it's the gastrocnemius and the soleus, which we will talk about once we get to the muscles. And just something fun fact about it is that it doesn't have good blood supply, so if it gets injured, then it's very difficult to get back to 100% since there's not a lot of blood supply that gets to this tendon. Next we have the plantar fascia, which runs from the backside of the foot, so like the calcaneus, all the way into the distal phalanges. Yep, it runs all the way to the distal end of the phalanges right here, and it is just thick protective connective tissue at the bottom of the foot. Helps with weight bearing, protects all the muscles and nerves and tendons underneath. It's a cushion for the foot when we do just daily activities like walking and jumping and things like that. And then lastly, I believe, is the interosseous membrane. I said that right, which is just like a big connective tissue that runs, that connects in between the tibia and the fibula, and it helps hold the form of the tib fib. Plus, it is just really important for like the lower leg muscle attachment, which we will now talk about. So moving on, we will do all of the muscles. So there's 4 compartments. We have the anterior compartment, we have the lateral compartment, we have the superficial posterior compartment, and then the deep posterior compartment. So first we'll start with the anterior compartment. So first we have the anterior tibialis anterior. Tibialis anterior is the first one, which originates on the lateral tibial condyle, which is right here, and the lateral proximal aspect of the tibia, and it runs all the way inferiorly down and connects and inserts into the first metatarsal and first medial cuneiform. And this muscle allows for dorsiflexion and inversion of the ankle. Next, we have the extensor hallucis longus, which, knowing from the name, it extends. So for the action of this, it extends the great toe. So if we start up here, it's going to originate onto the middle 1/2 of the fibula and the interosseous membrane, and insert into the it inserts into the base of the base of the distal phalanx of the great toe. Yep. And if we follow a line of pull, it's gonna extend the great toe and then also dorsiflex the ankle. Yep. Yes. So moving on, we're gonna do extensor digitorum longus. So just thinking about the name, it's going to extend the digits, so 2 through 5 digits. It's going to extend those. So it's going to, if we're thinking about where it originates, this originates into the lateral condyle of the tibia, the interosseous membrane, and then the this the lateral tibial condyle, the interosseous membrane, and then proximal 3/4 of the fibula, and then this muscle runs inferiorly all the way down and inserts into phalanges 2 through 5, which will then line of pull, extend toes 2 through 5, and also dorsiflex the ankle. And then last of the anterior compartment is the peroneus tertius. So if we think about the name and what we've talked about in the class, peroneus means fibula, and then tertius it also means 1/3. So this muscle is going to originate onto the distal 1/3 of the fibula down here, and also the interosseous membrane, and it's going to peroneus tertius here. It's going to insert down here onto the base of the 5th metatarsal, which is also the styloid process, which we palpated earlier. And it's going to dorsiflect the ankle moving it this way is going to be inversion. So it's going to dorsiflect and eversion. It's going to dorsiflect and evert the ankle. Yeah. Line a pull that way. Yep. Okay. Done. That's the anterior compartment. So now if you just want to move a little bit lateral, we'll do the lateral compartment now. Yeah, you can sit for this one. Okay, so if we do the lateral compartment now, we're going to do peroneus longus first, which is going to originate into the lateral. It's going to originate into the lateral tibial condyle and something else. Lateral tibial condyle, and we're going to say lateral and move to the head and proximal 2/3 of the fibula. So here, and then head of the fibula, and then proximal 2/3, which is going to be right here. And then we're going to move inferiorly down, and this one, the reason why I remember this one, because it's peroneus longus, so it has to be super long, and it moves all the way down the ankle and then underneath the foot, and then inserts into the base of the 1st metatarsal and the 1st medial cuneiform, which will then, if we follow line of pull, it's going to evert the ankle. So it's going to do eversion and plantar flexion. Eversion. So didn't know. It's okay. Eversion and plantar flexion. Perfect. And then next we have a short muscle, which is the peroneus brevis, which originates onto the peroneus brevis originates into the distal 1/2 of the fibula, and then runs all the way down and inserts into the base of the 5th metatarsal, which is the styloid process, and this also does eversion of the ankle and also plantar flexion of the ankle. Eversion and plantar flexion. There you go. Perfect. So that's the only 2 muscles for the lateral compartment. So next we're going to just say posterior, I think for the rest of the time, and we're going to do the superficial posterior compartment, and we're going to start with the gastrocnemius, which we've done in later videos. So this inserts into the medial and lateral femoral condyles and inserts into the calcaneus via the Achilles tendon, and this plantar flex the ankle. And then next we have underneath gastrocnemius, we have a muscle called the soleus, and then this inserts into the head of the fibula and proximal aspect of the fibula as well, and the middle portion of the tibia, and then this also does plantar flexion as well. And then we have the plantaris, which in class we learned that it's the fool's nerve when you get to med school, which is kind of fun. So this actually originates all the way up on the linea aspera of the femur, and then runs all the way to the back of the knee, down, and inserts into the calcaneus, but this one does not also go into the Achilles tendon. It goes just on the calcaneus, and then this does weak plantar flexion. Lastly, we have the deep posterior compartment, and we will start with the tibialis posterior, and then this tibialis posterior originates into the middle posterior tibia, and then the medial aspect of the fibula, and medial aspect of the, so middle, and then interosseous membrane, and then this inserts this has 3 insertions. This inserts into the navicular, this inserts into the navicular, this inserts into the navicular, the medial cuneiform, and metatarsals 2 through 5. Yep, it inserts into the navicular, medial cuneiform, and metatarsals 2 through 5, and then this does, if we do line of Paul, it's going to do plantar flexion and inversion, so it's going to invert the ankle and do plantar flexion. Next, we're going to do flexor digitorum, so this, thinking of the name, it's going to flex the digits 2 through 5. So first we're going to do the origin, which is going to be the posterior tibia. It's going to originate on the posterior tibia, and then just run all the way down and insert into the base of 2 through 5 phalanges. 2 through 5 phalanges, and then it's going to just flex toes 2 through 5. Yep. And lastly, we have flexor hallucis longus, which originates into the posterior portion of the fibula and the interosseous membrane, and it's going to insert, so flexor hallucis longus, it's going to insert into the distal phalanx of the great toe. Yes, distal phalanx of the great toe, and it's going to flex the great toe. And that's it.